Welcome everybody to the finale of I forget what the fucking name of the
Devils in the
podcast was.
Details podcast, brought to you
That's right.
by RealNerdCorp.com or powered
Wow,
by
okay.
Ohio guys.
It's the Devils in the Details, the podcast
There it
brought
is.
to you by the Ohio Guys Productions, powered by RealNerdCorp.com,
There it is.
live on twitch.tv/Comic and GameCorp. If you didn't already know, I'm your host for this evening. I am not nearly as handsome as Ray Wise, but maybe as dryly sarcastic. I'm not sure. But I'm also the Crown Vic of podcasting. My name is Alex Fisher, and joining me, as always, is my trusty co host, Bruton Gaster, aka Chad Porto.
I am as handsome as Ray Wise.
Eh, eh.
You shut your whore mouth. So, quick little amendum. The website's currently dealing with amendum. Super fighting robot. Amend man. We are having some server issues with the website. I have to contact GoDaddy to see if we can restore it to a prior state. I don't know what we're gonna lose when we do that, so kind of just a little heads up. I tried to update a Yoast, which I'm sure you have no idea what it is, and for some reason, my computer decides that even though it's currently doing something, that now's a good time to go to sleep. I don't know why it does that. Should probably check. And because of that, it interrupted the upload or download or whatever the fuck it was, and that caused some connectivity issues with the website. So I gotta get that fixed. I don't know what we're gonna have left after we reboot it though. So like, I don't know. I'm super scared. Although thankfully we do have Podbeam, so we're not gonna lose any of the podcasts. We just might be losing direct links to them.
Right.
So that might mean me doing master posts of everything, which will be a pain in the fucking ass because unlike so many other things in this world, Podbeam doesn't have a category search. I'll just have to scroll through all of them.
Oof.
Yay! So, keep an eye out for that because if you see me throw something through the center of the earth, you know why. Someone in China is like speaking Chinese. I'm not going to do a Chinese accent. Holy shit, what the hell was that? Is that a football? It's a football. It's going straight in the air. That's going to hit the moon. Because I'm just so fucking angry. I just spiked the goddamn ball through the goddamn core of the earth. Although that would be a badass fucking My Hero Academia-esque move. I'm not gonna lie. Angry football smash!
No, it's your vegan powers activate and you punch a hole in the moon.
I'm not fucking vegan though. I eat gelato.
Todd Ingram punched a hole in the moon for her.
Was that from the comic?
Yeah, that was from the comic.
Okay.
In the comic, she's like, "Yeah, Todd punched a hole in the moon for me," and then it gets revealed later that Todd is not only cheating on Envy with the drummer, the drummer of the group. I think her name's like Laura or something, and she has a robot arm. But he also punched a hole in the moon for her first. No, punched a hole in the moon for her second. And they've he punched a hole in the moon for her first because they've been in love with each other since elementary school. So
the Scott Pilgrim comic has a lot more details that the movie doesn't.
Oh boy, we could sit and talk about how the movie fucked over Kyle and Ken Katiyanagi completely.
Nice, right?
What?
Who's Colleen to get Katanabe? Who?
Kyle and Ken Katiyanagi, the
twin. Okay.
Yeah, in the movie they just get reduced to being DJs. In the comics are super smart, and they're the like I think they're around the longest besides Gideon. And they like build robots to fight Scott, and they don't fight him until the very end. And when they do fight him, he's rescuing Kim from them because they kidnapped Kim. No, they didn't kidnap Kim. They kidnapped a different girl from Scott's past, who Scott was friends with in high school, alongside Kim. It goes deep.
They need to make this into a TV show and ban Michael Cera from
Yeah.
existence.
Yeah.
He's the worst. Gotta say,
Again, we've had this conversation a million times. There was nobody else around during that time period that could play the role.
motherfucker, you could have put anyone in that. You put Tom Cruise in that role. Put Sherman Helmsley in that role. I think he's still alive.
No, I don't want Scott Pilgrim to have a middle tooth.
Put Danny DeVito in there. I don't give a fuck. Anyone's better
that
than
would
Michael
be fucking sick.
Anyone was better than Michael fucking Cera. And the thing is, Michael Cera doesn't even look like him. Scott Pilgrim kind of has like a cool vibe to him. He's got cool swoosh hair.
That's the thing, is that they completely missed out on the essence of like Scott, for being as big of a dickbag as he is in the comics, is actually still kind of cool. People
Right?
still generally like him. Whereas in the movie, you're just like, man, Scott, you just kind of suck in general overall.
You know who would be a good person to play Scott right now? Did you ever see? There's one thing I know you've seen him in, but have you seen Santa Barbara Diet or Santa
Clarita Diet?
Yeah.
No, I have not.
You've seen Psych though.
Yes.
Do you remember that they replaced young Sean midway through the series?
Vaguely.
That second Sean is the actor in Santa Clarita Diet who plays like the next door neighbor kid. He would be a perfect Scott Pilgrim. I don't know if he can sing though. Then again, Michael Cera can't sing, so whatever. Would you do a Scott Pilgrim TV show with music?
Yes, I think that would be the basis of the show. Is you have to get a lot of the music that inspired. I mean, because like a lot of the music had like Plumtree, the song Scott Pilgrim is what inspired the entire series. Without music, the comic series would not exist, and thus the movie would not exist, the video game and everything. I think that music is very important to the series overall. Not just the music that they play, that Sex Bob-omb plays, but music in general. So like, you can't have that. You can't have that show, that movie, that series without at least playing Scott Pilgrim by Plumtree, and you have to have Black Sheep by
Yeah, it's the song that
that Envy Adams sings. Yeah. The Clash at Demon Head, they sing the song "Hello Again, Friend." That song fucking rules, and that song is entirely integral to the show as well. Yeah, you have to do it with music. You have to, like, I think I don't know if necessarily the show needs to be stretched out more than just the core of what the comics has. But if you wanted to, a lot of what it could be focused around stretching that series out would be the struggles of Sex Bob-omb. I mean, because there's a whole point at which the band pretty much breaks up. Steven Stills, the talent, is trying to get an album made for them. And that it just halts the complete production of music overall. And like, there's a lot of details that you could expand upon, but also at the same time, just putting in everything that was in the I almost said visual novel, everything in the graphic novel that was left out of the movie, just into a show and put it in like a 44-minute runtime, I think you could definitely stretch it out and probably get a couple seasons out of it.
Just do each season based on the volumes.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you could get that. If you do it that way, you get 6 seasons.
Yeah. That's how you do it.
And
And then you could
yeah,
have like a
and
musical interlude every episode.
oh yeah, for sure. I mean, because then you start introducing characters that never made the cut of the movie, like the girl that from Scott's past that I can't remember her name right now, but yeah, there's her. You get into the real deep history. You can get into the deep history between Envy and Scott. You talk about you can do one of the seasons. You can do the relationship that was not touched on in the movie between Kim and Scott. Um,
That was actually touched on, but it wasn't part of the film. It was part of an animated short that came before the film that featured
okay,
Alison Pill reprising her role as Kim.
okay. Because like they like the only like thing that they really touch on it in the movie is when he like goes to rescue them from what's his name is the Chaos Theater, and he just looks at Kim and he goes, "Kim, I'm sorry," and that's all he says. And it's like, well, they kind of like you can tell there's tension there, but they never really expound upon it in the movie. Um,
Yeah, there's a
but yeah,
throwaway line early on about how they used to date. And he's like, yeah, and it ended fine. And she's like, no, it didn't.
that's right. Yeah, they do have that little throwaway line. He's like, it was. Did he? He said it was amicable,
Something like that.
and
And
it's
she's
just
like,
like,
it wasn't.
yeah,
But in her monotone, it wasn't.
it wasn't. Yeah,
So I would love to see all of them come back, except for Michael Cera.
except Michael Cera. Yeah, the dude. If I'm being honest, the movie besides Michael Cera, that movie was cast perfectly.
Yeah.
You have to think of the cast that was in it. One, all right, like the most notable, Chris Evans played Lucas Lee. Fucking
Well, I got the
fantastic.
cast. I can run through it real fast. Mary Elizabeth Winstead is Ramona.
Amazing.
Kieran Culkin, Macaulay's brother, as Wallace
He did
Wells.
did a great job.
Chris Evans is Lucas Lee.
Amazing.
Anna Kendrick as Stacey Pilgrim.
Amazing.
Brie Larson as Natalie V. Envy Adams.
Fucking amazing.
Allison Pill as Kim Pine.
Did a great job.
Brie Plaza as Julie Powers.
Also did a great job.
Brandon Routh as Todd Ingram.
Did an amazing job.
Jason Schwartzman as Gideon Graves.
Not my favorite pick, but also knocked it out of the park with his performance.
I was not a fan of that one. I think they could have done better. Johnny Simmons is young Neil Nordegraf.
I mean, young Neil is kind of a bit character anyways, so
Mark Webber as Steven Stills.
it probably my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah, he's pretty good. Mae Whitman is Roxy Richter.
Richter. Yeah, I mean, for the character she was supposed to play, she did a great job.
Ellen Huang is Knives Chow.
Yeah, she nailed it pretty much.
She's fantastic. She's gorgeous too.
Yeah.
Satya Bahaba as Matthew Patel. Maybe my favorite song in the entire movie.
If you want to fight me.
I just think of Lester
Yeah.
Patel every time I see him singing.
He does. That's who I would get to play Matthew Patel in the show.
Just randomly have Jeffster in a Scott Pilgrim show. They just look
Yeah,
over. They just look over Matthew Patel's shoulder, and they're like, "Hey,
Dude,
Patel, who's that?"
No. Yeah, never mind. I want Lester to reprise his role as Lester from Chuck and have Jeffster as a band in the Battle of the Bands, where he fights Matthew Patel. That would rule.
Shota Saito and Kieta Saito as Kyle and Ken Katanagi.
I mean, they did the job they were supposed to do. They were
yes.
They were supposed to be Asian and be twins. That was their whole job.
I don't think they nailed the last part. That's just my opinion.
Oh shit.
Nelson Franklin's Michael Kamau. I don't even know who the fuck that is.
Michael. Como. Komu is his name. He's the guy who goes, "Hey Komu, you know everybody," when he's at the party.
Oh, okay. He had a bit role, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
And then Bill Hader as the voice.
Bill Hader was the narrator?
That's what it says. Bill Hader as the voice.
Oh man, that's crazy. I can't think of the name of the actor who played Crash from Crash and the Boys. He's in a whole bunch of shit.
He's in Jericho.
Yeah, he's in Jericho. Yeah.
I just know him as the this next song goes out to the guy in the balcony. It's called "We Hate You, Please Die."
Oh, I love this one.
It's not a race, guys.
I forget the name. I forget the name of the guy who was there on the date with Stacy Pilgrim, but he goes, hey man, these guys rock or do they suck? And he goes, they have not started playing yet. That was a test, and you passed.
Yep, because that was the guy that Kieran ends up making out with because apparently he's always stealing Stacy's boyfriends.
I love it. I love it. Where Ramona goes to walk away, she says, all right, well, it was great meeting you and your gay friends. And she goes, it was nice meeting you. Gay friends. Turns and goes, Wallace, another one? And it cuts them, and they're just furiously making out with each other.
I'm sorry, I don't know how you can be gay and then reject Anna Kendrick, or not be gay and reject Anna Kendrick. It doesn't make sense to me.
Oh man, it was the scene in the coffee shop where Julie Powers is there, Aubrey Plaza. He goes, well, if it isn't Scott Pilgrim, and he goes, how are you doing that with your mouth? And she goes, never mind how I'm doing it with my mouth. I'm like, I'm glad that they acknowledged that she was being beeped.
Yeah,
and that she magically has powers to censor herself.
That is pretty solid. All right, so let's talk about season 2 of a different show.
Yes. We actually came here to talk about Reaper, believe it or not. I don't remember anything about season 2 because I watched it 2 weeks ago.
Oh, good. So I'm so glad we're prepped for this podcast.
Yeah.
So I'll fucking run through the episodes real fast because I know what I'm talking about. Apparently you don't. Thanks a lot, dipshit. You're welcome, Chad. Well, I appreciate that.
I remember it. I remember the episodes. I just don't remember the details anymore.
Well, in episode 4, New Hope, which is a great name for a returning show.
Yes, it is.
Sam and the crew are back from their trip. That lasted 3 months. Shockingly enough, Sam being away all that time was not very conducive for him and Andy's relationship, so she dumped him, but he didn't know that because he was gone for 4 months. So that's always fun.
Yeah.
Because Sam was gone, the devil had given him a break for a few months, but now that he's back, things have intensified because the devil's a little pissy. Turns out the devil's kind of a dick. Go figure. And his very first job back, he sends them to an underground lost soul fight club, which, God, it's just so goddamn 2000 in that name alone. It makes me hurt. Like, oh, a lost soul fight club. Yeah, yeah, that's the name of our band. We are Lost Soul Fight Club. We're gonna sing about God and stuff. God loves you. Completely throw you off with the name.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, no, he comes in later.
That's the name of one of your songs. Oh, Jesus.
So he goes there and he finds out that there's 40 souls beating the shit out of each other. It had something to do with like a squirt gun or like a ball or something like that. What was the vessel? It was how do we not have?
Oh, the vessel in the first episode is cattle prod.
That's right. So they end up bursting a water pipe and then electrocuting the water and absorbing 39 of the 40 souls. There is one who somehow broke his deal with the devil. Running from the devil. And the bulk of this season is trying to find out who this guy is and how he got out of his deal with the devil. Turns out the guy is a chronic gambler, however, and he sold his soul the honest way. In for a penny, in for a pound. We also find out that Sokka has a new stepsister.
Oh, yeah.
And he makes it his mission to fuck her.
He wants to sleep with her.
No. He wants to fuck her. There's no... We're not going to be cute and cuddly with this one. Because this is pretty deranged for Sok. We need to be honest with that. Sok's going full creepoid on this one. And the best part was he comes home, knocks on his mom's door because they got evicted. And his stepsister answers it, and she's Japanese. And when she realizes who he is, she starts to get all like buddy. She's like, I always wanted a big brother. And like she's like punching him and like squeezing on him. And Sock's like, this is not going to do. So that was basically episode 1. We've established that Andy and Sam are on the Rockoids. And yeah. Woohoo. We then get episode 2, Dirty Sexy Mongol. This was great. A Mongol has escaped from hell.
Yep.
And he's running through, what was it, Little China?
Yeah, he's running through Little China.
But he's doing it.
People.
He's doing it in a business suit.
Yeah, they're like, oh, he's a Mongol. How smart could he be? When they finally confront him in a kitchen of a Chinese restaurant, he's wearing a business suit and he's got a Bluetooth in his ear.
It's the best. And he's swinging around a goddamn Mongolian spear.
Yeah, he's trying to like confuse the Mongol with technology, and he's like, "Ooh, look at this!" And like the Mongol moves his hair out of the way and shows him the Bluetooth, and he goes, "Eh?" And Sam goes, "Oh no!"
It's fantastic. But while that was a great kind of what was the vessel this week? Do you remember?
The vessel was a Mongolian spear.
Ah, that's right. So
yeah, I remember they were in the kitchen. He was chasing him around like the big metal tables, and then the Mongol like he trips him somehow, and the Mongol falls onto the spear, or is about to attack him, and he just manages to thrust the spear up into him before he's able to kill him.
Oh, it says right here, spear. Huh. All right.
Yeah, it tells us the vessel in every.
I completely missed that.
Yeah.
So this one has 2 notable moments in it. It says here Ted is fired for harassing a secret shopper, which is fantastic because Ted becomes so much more important in season 2, and you wouldn't think that, but he does. And this was the catalyst for getting him to the best peak character that Ted could be. And it also featured Ben finally finding romance in the series. And Nina. Boy, she's got some splaining to do. Because throughout the first 2, well, at least mostly in the second episode, Sam is being attacked by demons who think that he betrayed the cause. So they're trying to kill him.
Yes.
Turns out one of the demons, though, ends up taking a liking for Ben and ends up being like a hot red, like a cherry blonde when she turns into her human self. And Ben is, taken aback by her, so to speak.
Nina.
Nina was the best. So, of course, that kind of sets them in motion some conflicts. Episode 21 might be my favorite one of the series, actually. It's called Sweet Science, and it features a guy who sold his soul. It wasn't for a title or for a win. What was it, for like a money? No, I'm sorry.
No.
He took a dive for money.
Yeah, he never sold his soul.
Yeah, but he was damned to hell because he took a bribe.
Because he took a dive in the championship match, and all he wants to do now is redeem himself by doing something that he should have, by doing something good. What he initially sees it as, he wants to redeem himself by winning the championship.
Mm-hmm.
So what it comes down to is that he realizes that this isn't the person that he ever wanted to be. He just wanted to be a good boxer and a good person. And the only way that he's going to allow Sam to take him back to hell is if he beats him in a boxing match.
Right. So like the first 20 minutes or 10 minutes of the episode is just Sam getting his face battered in. Eventually, though, they come to a deal. You let me win the title, and I'll come back willingly. So Sam's like, all right, how long do you need? A few days, few weeks? And he's like, about 3 years. And Sam's like, I can't do that. He's like, well, it's going to take me that long to get back into contention, then get the title, and eventually, though, the devil kind of goads Ben into this, and they end up having a showdown at the end where basically the devil says to the boxer, who I wish I could remember his name. He was in a bunch of Law and Order episodes. I forget who he was. But he basically says to him, like, listen, if you can beat Sam, I'll let you out of your deal. And if Sam can beat you, you go back to hell. So basically, you know, Sam is on a... He's going to lose. This dude is going to kill him.
No, so that's actually... I remember this, actually. He says, if Sam cannot beat you in this boxing match, I'm sending him to hell in your place.
Right. The point was, though, that Sam was screwed if he lost.
Yes, Sam would be screwed if
and
he
then
lost.
the boxer would be free to go if he won. So he's beating the shit out of Sam, just wailing on him. And eventually he's clinched with Sam, and he goes, make it look good. And he's like, what? And he goes, I wanted to do something good, and this is my chance. I'm throwing the fight, make it look good. So Sam ends up making contact. Dude goes down, gets absorbed into the vessel, and Sam's kind of having a hard time dealing with that one, because that one was a heavy one for Sam, because he was a decent dude that he just took down. Actor's name is Eric Palladino.
Eric Palladino, okay.
I do believe he's a good fella. He's an Italian. He's a good old fashioned Italian. Goddamn.
I almost just called him a derogatory term for Italians.
Which one? There's a few.
I was gonna go with the G1.
A Goomba?
No.
A good fellow?
No.
G1.
I was gonna call him a guinea.
Oh, that one's not too bad. No. Like, if we're gonna talk like derogatory terms, like Dago and Wop, like those two will get you. Like, I'll smack you if you call me a Dago. I'll laugh if you ask me how'd my day go. I'll laugh at that. I'm a sucker for puns. You call me a Wop, I'm knocking out a tooth. But a guinea, like that one, it's so not even used that often.
I know, it's like definitely like a 1930s insult, but
hey, what are you?
I was like, guinea? See, I'm glad that you said that WAP was one, because I was like, WAP is one for Italian. Man, we're getting into some real sketchy territory here.
Little Richard, you bastard.
Jesus.
So Eric Palladino isn't in like any one thing that often. He's in a bunch of episodes of NCIS LA. But like he's mostly that guy who's always in the show for like a small arc, like 6 episodes here, 13 episodes here. He's the character he played, by the way, is Michael Red Sabatino, and they called him Red because whenever he got angry, he saw red.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He was in Over There, which I actually remember that. Do you remember that show, Over There?
No.
It was a military show on FX, if I remember correctly, and the one scene that stuck with me was a dude gets sent home after losing his leg, and like the first night that he's awake after the surgeries, they're like, do you want, like, let us know if you need extra morphine, and he goes, no, I don't want any morphine, I don't want any painkillers, and like, it's going to be excruciatingly painful. He goes, I know. And like they cut to a scene of like the dude's wife outside of the room as the guy's just screaming in agony throughout the night. It was I was like, fuck, goddamn. So yeah, it's a rough show, man. I think it was Over There. That scene was from. But yeah, so he's always kind of a bit actor, but I like Eric Palladino. He's a good dude. Next up is The Favorite, which is the guy. It's Morgan. Hey there, it's Morgan.
Dude, they managed to do so much with this character in the span of, what episode did he make it to?
He debuted in episode 22. Oh, I dropped my water on my computer. No, it's a water bottle. It's a thick water bottle, so I was more worried about the computer breaking than getting wet.
Is it My Brother's Reaper, episode 28?
No. No, I want to say it was Business Casualties. No, I think it was Too Strong with Love.
Too Strong with Love? Okay.
Because My Brother's Reaper is when they turn on each other. Because it says right here,
No,
Sam is tasked with getting Gary, a spoiled rich guy the devil wants, to sign a contract selling his soul. Gary's too clever and manages to avoid Sam's attempts to get him to sign on the dotted line. Oh, no, you were right. No, that is that episode. Because that's the episode where he goes and meets and learns about the Church of Steve.
Yeah, because which episode is it? The home stretch is where the devil pits them against each other
Okay.
to see who becomes the heir, and at the end of that one is because he accidentally kicks the guy into the portal.
To save his brother, allegedly.
And that's where they turn against each other. And then in My Brother's Reaper is the one where he.
Well, we'll get there. We'll get there. So
Yeah.
The favorite. The devil orders Sam to teach his spoiled son Morgan to have a stronger work ethic so he can take over the family business. Why would an immortal being need to hand off the family business? I don't know. Sam reluctantly agrees with Morgan to help him capture a soul. Meanwhile, Ben believes Nina is turned off by his human form, and Sock uses Ted in a scheme at the workbench. Sam later finds out that his dad has come back from the dead. So let's unpack this. This was the episode with like the slug monster, like that. Remember? Did you ever play Resident Evil 0?
No.
There's a monster in there that like broke into like a billion little slugs. That's what I remember this villain being like. Where like there's like multiple things to worry about. I don't remember exactly what it was. But like Sam had to deal with his and Morgan had to deal with his and Morgan couldn't handle his and Sam saved his life. Because that's what Sam was going to be doing for the rest of this season. And it's revealed that Morgan basically doesn't give a fuck about anything.
Yeah.
Ever. But that's the reason
why. He's handsome. He's in good shape. He's got money. He's got that lifestyle. He doesn't give a shit.
Right. And all he wants to do is live that lifestyle. He doesn't care about anything. Except earning his father's approval. Shocking. We also find out that Nina, if I remember correctly, this is the episode where the demons are flocking to Nina.
Trying to remember. Was that the favorite? I think that was was that a little later? Yeah, that's later because that comes after they go flying.
Is it?
I think so, yeah.
Well, do you remember why Ben thought that Nina didn't like his human form? Because there's something about it. Because I don't remember.
Man, I'm trying to...
It wasn't anything huge.
Was this the episode where did this have anything to do with his grandmother?
No. No, that was I think the next episode because that's when she gets the heart attack. I found a review of it on avclub.com. So let's see if we can get Knowing Reaper, was anybody expecting Confused by Reaper? Meanwhile tonight, Sock was exploiting the hell out of the comedically creepy Ted. Gotta love that. Here we go. As for the C-story, Ben's relationship with the Nina, Hell's sexiest little blonde demon, continues to pay comic dividends. I've really enjoyed Rick Gonzalez' fan lately. Last season, Ben was merely, but lately he emerged, and I most credited Warren. Oh, thanks for not going into detail, bitch. I'm glad you like him. All right, maybe IGN will have a better review because I forget what it was. Two Offspring this week sold. Get the fuck out of here, IGN. No one likes you. Also, entertaining is Ben's relationship with Nina, which focuses on their intimacy issues. And while the resolution in the bedroom issue seems to take a slightly cheesy romantic turn, it does serve the purpose of making the relationship a bit more genuine and relatable.
I think it was because she used to be really freaky when she was a demon in hell, and she was worried that if the sex becomes too crazy, then she'll fall back into old habits and she won't be the same person.
It was either that or she was uncomfortable because she didn't have sex in her human form too often. It had something to do with her being in her human form. That was the issue. I just can't remember the exact details. but they resolve their issues.
Yeah, it's fine.
Basically, unless Sock is mentioned in one of these reviews, you can pretty much just take that Sock is trying to fuck his sister. That's all you gotta know. Although Ted starts getting used by Sock to do work around the workbench at like $20 per assignment. So like it could be like a 15-hour job, and he's only gonna get like $20 from Sock. And also, we find out at some point during the time of Sock's employment in season 2 that Sock is technically getting 2 paychecks.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I fucking love that.
Yeah, what was that guy's name?
It was like
the...
it was something like bizarre, like Lou Alcindor or something like that. Mahatma Gandhi. It's just some random ass name.
Yeah,
God.
he's collecting 2 paychecks.
I fucking love it. And then he's like, "How am I supposed to live on only $10 an hour? That's inhumane." We also find out in this episode that Sam's dad is back from the dead, although we don't know why. When we get to the end of the recap, I'll tell you why, and then you'll be okay. Episode 23, I want my baby back. Oh, God, I need to read these goddamn vessels because they'll tell you everything. Remember how I said they were slugs? They weren't. They were gold coin bugs.
Oh yeah, I wasn't even paying attention to that. I was just like going along with what you were saying. I was like, oh, no, they were fucking golden bugs.
Yeah, and they were needed to be absorbed into a letter opener. Next up was apparently a vampire.
Yeah, she was a vampire.
Killer with a wooden stake. Now, the thing about this one was the soul came out of hell to give birth. And then they sent her back. And then they gave the baby to...
Tony,
thank you. I was going to call him stupid. That was right. To raise her. And they end up... he ends up calling her little Stevie. And the rest of the episode is them having to send the baby back, which... Tony's forgiven a lot of shit that these douchebags have done to him. Yeah. I don't often side on the side of the demons very often in any medium, but in this case, Tony has a right to go full Valhalla on their asses.
But yeah, because they go over to his place to have lunch, and they're like complaining about the lunch that he makes, and he's like, "Oh well, let me run over to the market real quick. I'll grab some fresh tomatoes, and then everything will be good." So he leaves, and they're like hovering over the crib with a giant wooden stake, and Tony walks back in, and he goes, "What are you guys doing?" And they go, "It's not what it looks like." And he turns into his demon form and starts beating the shit out of him. But then they come up with a plan to baptize the baby to get her absolved of all sin.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the devil manages to steal her back, but then decides not to send her to hell.
Right, because there's that scene where he gets him in the back room of like some building. And he opens up a portal to hell, and he's like, "I can just throw you 2 in there now. I don't give a fuck."
Yeah.
Ray Wise is all out of fucks to give. But he ends up not doing it because he likes fucking with Sam. And I think there's more to do with that scene that's not explored there. Maybe like some kind of limitation that's not talked about yet. But he definitely makes it a big show about that he's doing Sam a favor.
Yeah. And I remember there was like a couple lines in this where Sam is trying to reason with him, like the baby hasn't done anything, like blah blah blah. And I think the devil is like, "Sam, you're missing a key component here. I don't care what they did or didn't do. All I care about is bodies. I want souls down in heaven, or not heaven. Jesus, I'm an idiot. I want souls in hell. I want numbers. That's all I care about." You know,
So we also find out, I think it was at this point, where Andy and Sam start to get back together a little bit. But Morgan kiboshed the whole thing by saying, "Oh, by the by, I'm the son of the devil, and my brother, your ex-boyfriend Sam, is also the son of the devil, hence the brother aspect. Toodaloo." And I like that he just drops grenades wherever he goes, just for the fun of it.
He's an asshole.
He's an asshole, yo. Dennis Leary can't sing, but he can sing a good song when he sings about assholes. So that takes us to, I think, my favorite episode, called Underbelly. The gang goes on vacation to capture monsters. This one had so many twists and turns, I couldn't believe it. So they go to this little mountain town out in Nowhereville, California.
Yeah.
And it's like it's the perfect place to live. There's a little bed and breakfast, there's a little store, there's a little bar and restaurant, and there's like a couple houses. I'm like, this is perfect. That's where I would want to live. But it turns out that there's a giant tentacle monster that can take the shape of people he's eaten. Well, he doesn't. He can make his tentacles take the shape of the people he's eaten and basically wear them like meat puppets. So whenever you see these townsfolk, they're always behind some type of barrier, like a bar or a desk or something. But they give you a red herring in the sheriff, who you see walking around, making it think that there's people in this village, in this little town. Turns out the sheriff has been trying to keep people away, so he says, from the town because there's the giant demonic thing that is eating people. So they go on a mission to capture the thing. They capture the thing. Then turns out the sheriff was actually a bad guy all along, saying, no, I wasn't keeping people away. I was feeding the son of a bitch because he ate all my friends and I don't want to be alone. And they're like, all right,
Yeah.
calm the fuck down, Enrique Iglesias.
He says, you guys are going around changing things, and I don't like change. Is actually a thing that he says.
Mm-hmm. So basically they end up going back to the tunnel, throwing the vessel back in there, only for Nina, who had gotten eaten earlier in the episode, to explode out of it, basically going down with some fucked up fuckery. And she was about to kill the sheriff, but Sam eventually convinced her not to. And Nina's like, fine, but you fucking lucky motherfucker. And she flies off looking for Ben because she was looking for some hanky-panky. You ruined her hookup hottie, you fuck. Also on this trip, Andy reveals to Sam that because of Sam's more blasé and what's the French term? Savoir-faire attitude. He's actually a character who is everywhere, by the way. I think that was like a Rocky and Bullwinkle character. Savoir-faire. Savoir-faire is everywhere. So, Dudley Do-Right. One of those. So, Andy essentially tells Sam that they're done. Whatever there is between them, they're done. She can't do it anymore. And also, this was the episode where Sock got the sock. He and his sister do the 22 skidoo, and the tentacle demon monster had the audacity to say that what they did was perverted. You're a demon from hell who eats people and then sticks their hand up their carcass. I don't think you have the room to judge, tentacle monster.
Yeah.
But this ruins any chance of them having a prolonged relationship, at least initially. Sock, though, will not be denied in further episodes. Did I miss anything plot-wise in this one?
No. I think this is the episode where Andy breaks up with him again because she can't deal with the fact that he's so concerned with being the devil's bounty hunter. He's too concerned with actually trying to do this.
It wasn't the bounty hunter aspect. It was finding out that Sam was this devil's son, and she accused him of starting to enjoy the devil and more evil things in this world, which is a great way of presenting it. But I agree with how she was kind of accusing him, but I always saw Sam as someone who was just getting used to things. Like, this is his life, and he needs to adapt. But if you throw a grenade in there like Morgan did, you can twist the situation and make it look very different, which is what Morgan did. There's still more about Sam's lineage, though, that will explore and explain why the devil has a detail for him. Anything else in this episode?
Oh, I think that pretty much is it.
So this one sucks. I mean, it's great, but it sucks. So they meet this dude who has never had sex in a day in his life. Decent looking guy. He died in like 1995 or some bullshit like that. Got sent to hell, doesn't know why. At least I don't remember why. And he comes back.
I mean, they tell him. They send him to hell. They tell him that he got sent to hell because he coveted.
Oh, that's right.
He
Because
coveted he coveted another man's wife.
was she even married? Because like he was like 19 when he died.
Yes, she was married, and then she's much older than him now. Now that he's 19 again, and her husband has since passed, and now they're together
So
when he comes back.
they were the same age when he died.
I believe so. Yeah.
And I think he even says like they went to school together. So like he's been aware of her. He's loved her and all that. But he's never had a chance to be with anyone. So when he gets brought back, they basically say, "Okay, we'll let you lose your virginity before going back to hell." And he ends up, they end up basically saying that, because you're in love with her, we're going to do you a solid, and we're going to try to find a way to get you out of this. This goes sideways, though, because the devil sends. Well, it wasn't the Reaper, but it was supposed to be like the Ender. Was that what it was called? The Ender?
It's the Ender. Yeah.
He sends the Ender after him, and the Ender basically is a full stop erasure of a soul. No one gets it, but it ceases to exist. And the devil even says, "I'm not even sure what it does with the soul." So the thing shows up, and I don't remember how they made it think that the thing wasn't. Was it because he was like having sex with her and they had true love or some bullshit like that? How did they deflect the Ender?
I think it was. Yeah, I think it was true love. I think that's what it ended up being because I remember that being something that they said in like season 1, right? That the devil can't get in between true love.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think it was true love, and so in the moment of passion, they became. Oh, that's what it was. In the moment of passion, since they were having sex, two souls became one.
Fuck you, Spice Girls. When you said, "Oh, I remember," I'm like, he's gonna say the goddamn line from that goddamn Spice Girls song, isn't he?
But that's what they say though. I'm not saying the fucking. I'm not trying to like fucking pull a Spice Girls prank on you. They say the souls became one in that moment, and the Ender could not differentiate.
It lost the scent, is what they said.
Yeah, it lost the scent. It couldn't differentiate between the two souls, so he went away.
So at the end of the episode, they're sending the guy off to live a life full of happiness and whatnot, and then all of a sudden Morgan rolls up, throws the fucking vessel at the guy, and takes him back to hell anyway. Fucking kick dick in the nuts, man. Like, what the fuck? That even rewatching that, knowing how this episode ended, I still went, that's such a dick move, Morgan. So bad. Also, Andy's still being a bitch to Sam, so. Yeah. This was the one that sees. This is the one that sees Sam and Morgan go out on a duel hunt. Sam promises Morgan that he's going to let him get the guy. Because if Morgan gets the guy, then he gets the job, and then the devil can basically fuck all with Sam. And yeah. But during the confrontation, actually throughout the episode, they're buddying up. They're starting to talk more. They're starting to get to know each other. There's a certain sense of, appreciation for one another. And at one point, Morgan even says, "Sam, thank you for helping me with this." And like Morgan showing a lot of humanity in this episode. They get into a fight, and I think there was 3 demons, but one specifically had to get sent in. And whoever sent that one in would go and be the new whatever.
Would be the heir.
Right. So Sam takes care of 2 on his own, tosses them into the fucking portal like a goddamn boss. But Morgan is about to die. Was it Morgan that was about to die, or Sam was about to die? And Morgan prevented Sam from being killed, and Sam took the opportunity and kicked the dude into the portal, not even thinking. And Morgan realized what had just happened, and Sam took a couple seconds extra, and he's like, "Oh, shit." And Morgan then starts to accuse Sam of betraying him and having it out for him and being a liar. And Morgan ends up leaving in this episode distraught and with no money, no car, no nothing. He is gone from his father's life, essentially. It is a rough break for ya.
Still handsome.
By the by, we should cover this now. Throughout the season, they are searching for a guy by the name of Alan Townsend. He's the man who escaped his deal with the devil. At this point, he is now working in a cemetery and living on consecrated grounds, so the devil can't get him.
Yep.
Yes.
He has to live in a shack at a cemetery.
And again, it needs to be pointed out that the only reason he's doing this is because he did, in fact, have a problem with his own soul, because he was an addict. He was a gambling addict. So Sam wouldn't have to worry about any of this if he got the deal done, like Alan did, because Sam never did anything to have his deal, have his soul revoked in the first place. Just kind of a shitty time. Next up is No Reaper Left Behind. Sam is then sent to the home of the devil's lover, Sally, so that he can teach him more of the famous business. Oh, okay. Sally is the British chick. I remember her.
That's this is the episode where Sam is telling Andy, he's like, I'm gonna seduce this lady.
And she's like, sure, Sam. Okay, Sam.
She's like, okay, yeah. If you say so, if this is what you gotta do. And she's like, one, she half doesn't believe him, and two, she's also half jealous.
Firstly, she's just, yeah, okay. But then when he tells her, like, I'm going on a date with her, she's like, yeah, all right, fine. Like, you're going to even score, whatever. Fuck, no. Don't go. And then after the date, she's like, so, and he's like, I didn't sleep with her. And she's like, oh, I wasn't worried about that. He's like, yes, you were. And he's like, yeah, I was. So it's a nice evolution of Andy's neuroses throughout the episode. I forgot who the woman was in this, though. I remember her from something.
I'll look it up here.
I'm doing the same thing. Hey, by the by, I got that fucking song stuck in my head, so, thanks for that, asshole. Simone Kessel. She can make the Kessel Run in 4 parsecs. Outlaws, The Crossing, Reckoning, Pine Gap, Kings and Prophets, Fat Tony, Terra Nova, Underbelly. Maybe not. I don't see anything. Hercules. She was Rena.
Which Hercules?
The Legendary Journeys. Kevin Sorbo, my friend. So anyway, so she shows interest in Sam. Sam shows interest in her. But the devil's, he's just there to fuck with her. And at one point, the devil even sends like a really expensive juicer. Because apparently that's how the devil seduces women. And Sam takes credit for it. And that makes this Sally girl want to sleep with him even more. They go out on a date. The devil drops in on it because, of course, he would. Why wouldn't he? He ends up having to fight Sally at one point using a revolver Nerf gun, which is fantastic. But before he can send her to hell, the devil jumps in through the door, knocks Sam away, and saves Sally. And the devil reveals to Sam that he did all of this just so he could be the hero for Sally.
Yep.
I love this bastard. He's so funny. So what do you think, Sam? Was jumping in a little too over the top? I wanted to be heroic.
God, he's fucking... Ray Wise is great.
He's so good. Also, Sam and Andy start to reconcile a little bit in this episode, but I don't think they're fully there yet. Next up is a great one. It's My Brother's Reaper. Gary is a rich dude, sold his soul for money. Now he has like a tiger. He lives in a mansion. He has a manservant.
Doesn't have a tiger.
What does he have? He has a polar bear.
Polar bear.
He has a polar bear. That's what it was. I was watching Psych, 100 Clues episode with
yes.
Panther. I was rewatching that. And I completely forgot Kurt Smith was in it. And he walks in shot in the gut. Gusta, Sean, I've been shot in the diaphragm. And you killed Kurt Smith. He's not dead.
Do you remember what the name of the polar bear was?
No.
Barry Manilow.
Yes. I love it. So they end up finding out that Gary refuses to sign any contract and essentially just being, he's taking advantage of the Timeshare Free Use Act. He's going to use the hell out of the trip, but he's not going to sign for anything.
Yeah,
So,
he's gonna repent on his deathbed
Right.
and be absolved of all sin.
and that's his end game. It ends up not going the way he expects it to. Also, along the way, Morgan's back. Hey, Morgan, how are you? Morgan needs help. He needs Sam. He needs Sock. He needs all the buddies. Throughout Morgan's tenure there with the trio, he ends up eating all the food, trying to sleep with Sock's sister, and almost sleeping with Nina the demon. Although Nina is having none of his shit and outright sets him up. And at one point, this is also the episode, I believe, where we find out that Tony is running a church of Steve. And they're showing clips of Steve doing karaoke, but the clips are talking to this Gary guy. And Gary's pretty much like, that dude Steve is telling me I need to stop fucking around. And no one believes him, but Tony does. And he goes, if Steve's talking to you, he's talking to you for a reason. And Gary repents, gives all of his stuff away, and takes off, thus negating the need to get his soul.
Yep.
Also along the way, Nina takes Morgan to the Tao of Steve. And in front of in front of Sam and I think Ben, devour him for all to see. Bunch of demons eating the son of the devil. That's the show we're in. that's the show we're in, folks. Let's see, anything else?
It was a crazy fucking twist, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it was. So Morgan's now dead, dead and gone. Although I think there was plans to bring him back eventually, because he's in hell now. He can come back. So Nina and Ben end up, Ben thinks that there's something between Nina and Morgan. So when he finds out that Nina ate Morgan, he's like, oh, okay, I'm fine with that. And also sometime prior, they broke up because it wasn't mentioned in any of the episodes. I don't forget what episode it was. That was in. But Ben and Nina break up because Nina visits or talks to Ben's grandmother. And the grandmother knows she's a demon, but they start talking, and the grandma, the abuela, starts to like Nina. But I think a dog or a cat got out and spooked Nina. And she went full demon in front of the grandmother, and the grandmother had a heart attack. And
was put in the hospital.
Yeah, and she's, on the brink of death again. That seems to be the grandmother's MO. But Ben breaks up with Nina. Nina doesn't take it too well and starts stalking Ben. And that's the funniest shit. Like, Nina.
Oh, yeah.
And Nina will pop out in her human form, yeah, go home.
Yeah. Doesn't Sock start having nightmares?
I think so. No, Sock started having nightmares when he found out Nina was a demon.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Never mind.
Eventually, Ben and Nina get back together. I forget why. It had something to do with Ben sticking up for his grandmother, or sticking up to his grandmother, but also someone else said something to him, and it made him.
So I remember that they get back together, but the moment that so he sticks up to his grandmother, and then his grandma disowns him.
Yeah.
Because he's like, if you're gonna date this demon, then you can't be a part of this family. And she does try to give him an out. She's like, if you have her exercised, then you can both be a part of the family, and everything is good. He initially refuses, but then Nina's just like, no, I'm not gonna let you tear yourself away from your family. We'll just get it done. She writes this whole long letter to Ben saying that there's a pretty good chance that when I get this exorcism goes through, I'm going to be, my body's going to be ripped apart and my soul's going to get sent back to hell. Mm-hmm. But she's like, thank you for everything. I love you, blah, blah, blah. Are we on that episode yet? Because Oh no, that's the very last episode.
No, it's
That's
not.
Frog Tongue. Yeah, it
Is
is.
it?
It's Frog Tongue. Yeah, because Sock goes to save her because he finds the letter, and he had been drinking water out of a cup, and one of the frogs that the dude with the frog tongue had was in there, and he was licking the frogs to get high, the soul. And Sock has to make his way to Nina and Ben high off his ass from a toad.
Okay, that is the last episode.
Yeah,
So, I think then Nina caused the heart attack probably episode 28, I think.
probably somewhere around there. Yeah.
So, we go on to episode 29 to Sprung with Love, which is a great name.
Oh God, it's an episode and a half.
Right? So Sam, Sock, and Andy go to their old high school because they assume Mr. Sprung is the current demon. They open up the file, they see Mr. Sprung, they read nothing else, and Sam goes, of course Sprung's a demon. So they all go there and they hit Sprung in the head with a mallet, but he doesn't go anywhere. And it turns out he's not the demon, he's gonna be the victim of the demon. Or the escaped soul, sorry. So they have to tie Sprung up in a chair and they wheel him around, and he's just peddling insults like just one after another.
He's a real dickhead.
Oh, he is. He's such a dickhead. They eventually find out that it was another student who's coming for Sprung, and they end up capturing him. But Sprung is still hell-bent on getting everyone arrested. So at the end of the episode, Sprung is ranting and raving to all the cops, and he's like, there's a demon. They hit him with a mallet, and they absorbed him, and he's the son of the devil. And the cops are like, okay, sure. Do you want us to arrest this guy? And Sam and Andy's like, yeah, he's a danger. So he ends up getting hauled away, screaming at the top of his lungs. He's telling the truth. No one's believing him.
Yep.
Fucking loved it. I think this is the episode where Nina causes the heart attack because there's no mention of Ben or Nina in this. So that means that it had to be the episode where something happened with them. There's also a fight between the workbench and the bargain bench mascots. And the bargain bench ended up being like an old lady, and Sock's like dropping an elbow on her. Oh, that was some funny shit. Do you remember that?
That was the bargain bench. It was the workbench. So it was Brandon he was Rinchy Bench.
Yeah.
For the workbench, and the bargain bench was like Brandon the discount hammer or something like that.
Something like that. But it's like this like 80-year-old woman, and they're getting into a fist fight, but Sock doesn't know it's an 80-year-old woman until he unmasks her.
He gets his ass kicked.
It's so good. Next, we got Business Casualty. Nina and Ben set up Sock on a date with the demon who can change into anything he wants. And for some reason, this demon is super into Sock, and the demon's willing to turn into anything he desires.
Yep.
This, by the by, after he tried to seduce his stepsister again, and after he confessed his love for his stepsister to his stepfather, in the middle of them having a day fishing.
They were fly fishing.
And he's like, and the best part was the dad, who I know, he's from so many things. He's like, you don't wear, or no, what was he saying? Because Sock rolled out into the middle of the lake. He's like, where's your water waiters? I don't need those. I like the water just rushing through my jeans.
No, she goes, where are your waiters? And he says, oh, I don't wear them because letting the water lap against my skin, I get a better sense of where the fish are.
That's what it is.
What an idiot.
He's such a schmuck. I love it. So he confesses his love for his stepsister to the stepfather, and he's like, I'm not laughing at you dating or being in love with your stepsister. I'm laughing at the fact that you think you're good enough for her. And I'm just like, God damn, that's harsh. That is some harshness right there, my friend. I'm looking to see Hiro Kanagawa plays the second Morse. And he was in Altered Carbon. He was in iZombie as Lieutenant Suzuki. So he's been in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
And Eriko Tamura, I think, plays the daughter. She plays Kristen, right? That's who that was, Kristen?
Yeah, Kristen.
So that relationship fizzles. So he's dating a demon who's super into him, but for some reason, Sock doesn't give her a chance. Even when she turns into the perfect woman, or says she could, Sock's not really all that interested, and Sock is lost in love again.
Just a little side note. This is like actually one guest actress that I actually recognize. The I forget the name of the demon in this one. I think it's like Maggie or something. Played by Catherine Reitman, who played Maureen Ponderosa in It's Always Sunday. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Catherine Reitman?
Reitman, yeah. Reitman. Yeah, Catherine Reitman. She played Maureen Ponderosa. Dennis, who, if you don't know, that's Dennis's high school sweetheart and his ex-wife.
Ah. She's the sister of Jason Reitman.
Oh.
Who directed Juno. So now I got to go bust his knee with a tack hammer, I guess. I didn't make the rules. I just follow them. If you do Juno, get kneecapped. Also in this episode, they find out that there's basically a actual business of hell.
Yes.
With demons who trade demonic soul stocks, and Sam is given a new job by the devil, and it's like an urban management consultant project or some shit like that. And he causes the dude to jump out of a window.
So he goes into this meeting, and they're like, "All right, new guy, you come highly recommended from Jerry up on the 75th floor. What you got?" And he goes, I got nothing." And the guy's like, "You got nothing?" He's like, "No, I didn't know that I was supposed to come to this with something, so I got nothing." He goes, "You know what? Maybe that's what we need. Instead of the same old crap that some people keep pitching all the time," and they point over to the dude who's doing his presentation. He's like, "Maybe we need a fresh start." He's like, window jumper. They're like, "Maybe we need a fresh start, a clean slate. You got a couple days? Come back to me with your best, your best." And so Sam is in his office, and the guy's like, it's like, he's basically like, "You fucked me. You screwed me. You came in here and you just threw everything I had worked so hard for away." And then he tries to throw Sam out a window, and Sam, I forget exactly what happens, but the guy ends up accidentally falling out the window.
I think like Sam ducks and he goes over him, but Sam tries to grab him, but can't pull him back in.
And so Sam steals the guy's idea and repurposes it as his own. And the guy's like, "So you killed you killed like Phil by pushing him out a window and stole his idea?" And he's like, "No, I didn't kill him." He's like, "That's the most devious thing I've ever seen. You know what? That's exactly why you're exactly what we're looking for." And he hands him his executive card to get him up to the 75th floor. They go up to the 75th floor, and they see that everybody on the 75th floor is a demon.
So the best part about all that was when he repurposed the project, he added like a see-through plastic cup in the middle of like the fucking model to try to make it different.
Yeah. He barely changed it. Oh, man.
They also find out that there's a portal to hell in that room, and they come up with a plan that we missed a minor spot. I forgot what episode it was, but they basically come to the conclusion, at least his father does, that his mother has left him, his father. He's trying to reconnect through Facebook and video games and online social media and all that, but his father knows that it's a hopeless endeavor, so he asks Sam to kill him, which Sam eventually does, although begrudgingly. But he does so with the idea that when you kill me, I can go to hell and see if I can find out any information on this dude and how he got out of hell. So he goes with the idea that he can come back if he wants. Spoiler alert, he doesn't want to come back. And they come up with a plan that Nina will then use the portal into hell to go find the information and bring his father back. And that's where they find the portal is in this business, so they have their get in to get to his father.
Yeah.
They also end up finding where Alan Townsend is as well, and they have a conversation with him. And in business casualty, actually, I think is what it was, they come up with the plan of getting him to the Vatican. Because
It may have been too strong with love.
It very well may have been.
Yeah.
But they end up, setting up this plan to get him to the Vatican. It's an entire city on consecrated grounds. He can live a fairly normal life. Granted, he can't leave the city, but he can at least be outside of a
cemetery.
So he agrees to it, but he won't tell Sam the details. That's right, because you're right. It was at least no later than From Sprung to Love, because Alan Townsend tells Sam that he'll tell him how to get out of his deal with the devil once he's in Rome.
Yeah.
But the devil ends up diverting the plane to Rome through Las Vegas.
Yep.
And Alan Townsend starts gambling again and gets sent back to hell. So that's why the father ends up going to hell himself to get information, to try to get Sam where he needs to be. And that brings us to The Devil and Sam Oliver, the ipso facto series finale. So Nina returns and basically tells Sam that if you challenge the devil to a game and you wager whatever, he's
contest. It doesn't have to be a game.
Yeah, contest of sorts. He's obligated by his narcissism to accept it.
Yeah.
And he says something about using the devil's vanity against him, or something like that, something to that effect, or being the mirror to the devil, or something like that. And so Sam starts to think about what he's really good at, and he deduces that the only thing he's really good at is quarters, the drinking game. But he's really good at quarters.
I love it.
So the devil and him agree to do a competition of sorts, but the devil wins, beats Sammy. And that's when Andy goes, double or nothing, my soul on the line. And the devil's like, all right. And that's when they realize what they were talking about by the vanity of the devil. They set up a mirror to distract him, and he's unable to get the quarters in. Now this is over the course of a day. It's not like boom boom. It's like a day or two later they do this. So they're set up, they're prepared. The table that they're on is a glass table. So the devil's looking at his reflection the entire time. And Sam, he's hitting 1, he's hitting 2, he's hitting 3, and all he needs to do is hit 1 more. And the devil basically says, fuck this noise, and breaks Sam's shooting hand. And No, the devil misses all of them, and all Sam has to do is get 1 in. And the devil breaks his hand, forcing Sam. Yes.
No, the devil didn't break his hand.
Who broke his hand?
So,
you could just tell me. You don't need to ramp up to a story.
He gets his hand broken by Steve, the angel.
Oh yeah, it was in between.
He tells him, yeah.
It was in between the rounds. The devil goes 0 for 5. Sam gets up. Steve pops out and breaks Sam. Steve's kind of a dick. Fuck, that's right.
Yeah, so Steve breaks his hand, and he's like, why did you do this? And he's like, I wish I could tell you, but they have greater plans for you.
So Sam goes back with his left hand and fucks up.
Yep.
Goes 0 for 5. So because it's a tie, Andy loses her soul. And Sock, Ben, Andy, and Sam then share a beer outside or inside of the workbench, only to come out and see what appears to be a grouping of angels above them. Because it turns out Steve is actually an angel now. Go figure.
Yeah.
On his wings. Also in this episode, we find out nothing. That's it. This is also the episode where Sock and Ben save Nina. And
yeah,
who was it who so the priest is administering the exorcism, and Nina's wriggling around and whatnot, but they show up just in time. But didn't Sock knock like a lamp off the desk, going, yeah, it's out. Oh, we got it.
No. So here's what happened. I remember this. Sock comes in and he's losing his mind because he's high off his ass from this frog. He's thirsty. He can't fucking he's having trouble breathing. He can't speak. He walks in and he's just fucking saying gibberish. Blah, 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 blah,
That's
blah, blah,
right.
blah. And so they're like, "What the hell is happening? What the hell is happening?" And Nina, taking advantage of the moment, looks at the priest. She hasn't been fully exorcised. The demon's not out of her. She looks at the priest. She goes, "I don't know what's happening, but I feel better. I think the demon jumped to Sock." And the priest turns and he looks at Sock and he goes, "You're not getting away from me, you son of a bitch." And he grabs Sock and hits him with the cross and takes him to the ground.
So Nina survives.
So yeah, everything works out for the best because Nina doesn't get torn to shreds and sent back to hell. She gets to stay with Ben, and Ben's grandma thinks that she's been exorcised.
Although since she has the third eye, she should know better, but whatever.
Well, it doesn't matter because this was the last episode.
So would you like so what do you think are the biggest surrounding questions around this show?
Well, it's what did God and the angels in heaven have in plan for Sam?
Mhm.
Does he ever eventually get his soul back?
Mhm.
What was the deal with his dad? Why did he come back as a zombie?
Mhm.
And I mean, those are like the three biggest, I would think.
4. You mentioned 4. But yeah, you want there to be an even 5, but there's not. Not an even 5, but 5's just
Well,
so
wait, I mentioned 4.
you did.
What was the plan for Sam? What was heaven's plan for Sam?
Will Sam ever get his soul back?
Yeah. Why is his dad a zombie?
Mm-hmm.
What else did I say?
God damn it! You just. I know you said 4 things, so I was counting them out as you're saying them. So here's the long and skinny of it. Sam does get his soul back.
Mm-hmm.
He and Andy do get together.
Mm-hmm.
The dad's deal, and that's what it was. It's the dad's deal, and why did the dad come back as a zombie?
Oh, okay, yeah.
So Sam's dad is actually a demon, making Sam half human, half demon. The deal was that Sam's father, and it was like worded in a specific way, but it was worded in a specific way where he would be free from ever returning to hell and being able to have a family. But the way it was worded meant that Sam's father could never die. So because of the deal, he was allowed to have a child on Earth, and he was able to, and Sam is his father's son. He's not the devil's son at all.
Yeah.
He was able to stay on Earth, have a kid, but he would never be allowed to leave. And because he doesn't have a soul to give, he gives the soul of his son, Sam. Now, the big caveat about all that is the reason why the devil was keeping Sam around is because Sam, as a half human, half demon hybrid, knew or would have the ability to kill the devil in the right opportunity. And the angels knew this, thus keeping Sam close to the devil for as long as possible. So eventually the show was going to end with Sam vanquishing the devil, or at least sending him off the earth, or what have you, and then being given a soul, essentially, by the angels to live a mortal life.
Okay.
No news on if Ben and Nina ended up doing the hibbity-dibbity to the point where they have a baby, but one can only hope.
That'd be fucking crazy.
I'm sure at one point Sock fucks another demon. Like he already went to second base with a fucking succubus. How many times did he make out with her? I'm pretty sure I only have 3 years left to live, Sammy.
If it was Ben, and he goes, "If it's any consolation prize, I'll probably be dead in 3 years."
I like that he always called Ben Benjamin.
Listen here, Ben. Well, he called him Benjamin or Benji.
That's right. Never Ben.
He never called him Ben.
This was a solid show. I really liked it, and I kind of wish that it had gotten picked up by, what was it, Chiller, I think.
Chiller or Sci-Fi were the two that were like mainly in contention.
I would love to see the show get picked up still, even 13 years later.
Yeah.
I know Brett Harrison's like 40.
Tyler Labine probably looked like a completely different person.
Well, Tyler Bean was like 35 when he did the show. He's not 35. He's 42 now, so he was like 30 when he did the show.
Oh, he looks like a fucking normal person.
Well, in that photo on Wikipedia, yeah. Brett Harrison's 38. Missy Peregrym, fuck off, is 37. So, like, you would need to, like, set the show 10 years later. But, I mean, you could do it.
Yeah, easily.
The only problem is doing it soon while Ray Weiss is still with us because he's 72.
Yeah.
Don't want to wait too long. And it would finally give Rick Gonzalez something to do, besides sucking an arrow.
I would. Yeah, I know. I was gonna say how did I miss I didn't miss the fact that he was in Coach Carter, obviously, but like he played.
Hair.
Yeah, he played a fucking asshole in Coach Carter. Comes through, plays Ben Gonzalez, and fucking knocks it out of the park, and he's one of the best parts of the show. And then he goes on to be fucking mad. What was he? Wild Dog? Was that his name?
Yeah.
God, I hated him. Was it Rene Ramirez?
Yeah.
Ugh.
You forgot that he was in War of the Worlds.
No, I didn't.
He was in Roll Bounce, and then he was in the greatest horror film of all time, Pulse.
I didn't forget any of that.
Dude, this is a cast of CW if I've ever seen in my life. Kristen Bell, Ian Somerhalder, Rick Gonzalez, Sam Levine, Christina Milian. Oh my God, that is 2005 CW right there. Oh, I love it. Pulse is such a bad movie and had so much potential. Well, it was Pulse, and before that, it was White Noise. Do you remember White Noise?
That's one of Sheamus's finishing moves.
I'm gonna smack you so fucking hard.
That's his air raid crash.
I'm gonna kick you so hard in the dick. You're gonna have a testicle in your asshole.
If you kick me in the dick, how will a testicle end up? You would have to kick me in the testicles.
Exactly. I'm gonna break the laws of physics. I'm gonna kick you in the dick so hard.
That's not nice. You shouldn't do that.
White Noise was a Michael Keaton movie. He loses his. You leave Michael Keaton alone, goddamn.
What sort of flying creature did he portray? Because
Batman,
so
Vulture, Batman, Vulture, and
he was in Birdman.
Yeah, but he doesn't play Harvey Birdman. Just plays some dude named Birdman.
I made that joke to someone the other day where I want Michael Keaton to portray Harvey Birdman in a Harvey Birdman movie.
I mean, do it. He's 68.
But it has to.
God damn.
It has to be a Harvey Birdman attorney at law type thing.
I'm down. So
Harvey Birdman, attorney at law.
So he's a successful architect who loses his wife and spends the rest of the film trying to find a way to connect with her soul on the other side of the astral plane, if you will. And he uses like white noise to try to contact her. And it's basically a movie that was built around the idea of based on true events. But before it became like super overplayed. And like the entire trailer was like maybe 30 seconds of the film. But like it was a 90-second trailer. And like the first 60 seconds was like, these are real recordings of ghosts through the white noise effect. And like it's just like, I'm like, what the fuck is this? A goddamn android from Star Wars? And then they show like 30 seconds of the movie. and I'm like 14, I'm 17 at the time. I'm like, holy fuck, this is scary as hell. Then I watched it, I'm like, holy fuck, this is boring as hell. The end of the movie is literally the end of Ghost. Did you ever see Ghost?
Yeah.
Remember how the bad guy gets dragged away by demons or whatever?
Unfortunately.
Literally how this movie ended.
Great.
Michael Keaton's get dragged away, but he gets dragged to hell.
Dude, you said that this dude tried to talk to his wife through his deceased wife through white noise, and my brain for whatever reason was like, hey, what was that movie that was like Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock and they talked to each other through a mailbox?
Is it bad enough that you made me watch it? Now you mock me with it.
What was that movie?
You really don't know? The Lake House.
Lake House. Thank you. God. Oh man, did I get that right? Was it Keanu Reeves and
Yeah.
Sandra Bullock?
Yeah. They're like 18 months apart or something like that. And
Yeah,
like
yeah.
they're talking and they don't know why. And the only
They-
the only historical context that this film created was a line in fucking The Big Bang Theory. That's it. That's the only good thing that came from that movie.
I can honestly say that I've never seen a single episode of Big Bang Theory.
I like it. It's a good show. It does get a bit bloated after like season 6 because they start giving every character like a love interest, and then they start giving the secondary characters more screen time, and then all of a sudden it's not just the core 5 anymore. That's where it kind of falls off for me, but it's still solid. Like I wouldn't turn it off if it was on, no matter what season it was. Although it is like 10 seasons long, so we're not gonna be doing that anytime soon. That just doesn't make sense.
I would never. I refuse to watch that show.
Why?
I just feel like the point of the show is not to try and be like, because everybody in the show is smart,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like the whole point of the show is not to be educational or like funny humor in education, and like find humor in it. But like the point of the show is for these characters, for you to kind of feel inferior to these characters. These characters just one, you have to assume you know what they're talking about, and two, that like every single fucking character in that show is kind of an asshole.
Well,
I can't stand what's his name, Sheldon Cooper. I'm sure the actor Jim Parsons who plays him is fine, but like that character, he is on this fucking high and mighty high horse of like, I'm smart, so I'm better than you, bazinga. And if I hear that fucking catchphrase ever, I'm like, I hate this. I hate bazinga. I hate everything to do with him.
see now
I
you're a little off base because they do use a lot of scientific humor, and it's always played for like a dull laugh because like no one gets it. But that's always the joke, is that no one gets it. Because it's like these 4 dudes are like making these like high end jokes, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, no, that must have been funny." So there's a lot of that in there, and there's also a lot of pop culture and nerd culture in there. But there's also a lot of depth and growth with these characters, and I know that doesn't seem like it's a big selling point, but the moments, especially with Sheldon, who might be high as a character, might be a high functioning autistic, to see him grow throughout the series and to see him be more vulnerable are really high points in the show, and really does deliver, those kind of emotional moments that you're hoping in a show that can be delivered. So like it's one of those shows you have to give it a chance, and you have to kind of not go into it thinking that it's going to be fucking Camelot. Like this isn't Shangri-La. It's a TV show.
yeah.
It was very popular, and that turned people off automatically for some reason. I don't know why. But it's not poorly done. It's well made. It's well sourced, well referenced, and it's very much a show that if you are into this stuff, you're going to enjoy it. But the problem is, a lot of people thought that they were making fun of it, but they weren't. So it's one of those things where it's a show really about accepting who you are in a lot of angles. So it's not the most educational show in its content. It's made by the same dude that made 2.5 Men. It's like, what are you expecting out of it? Like Chuck Lorre's not exactly the harbinger of all things kind, nice, and smart. He's a dumb sitcom creator. But I was going to say How I Met Your Mother. Big Bang Theory is a solid sitcom. Just don't go into it thinking that you're going to be seeing fucking. I can't think of any good movie. Like I can't. Platoon. There's one. You're not going in thinking you're going to see Platoon. But if you give it a chance, it might grow on you.
Yeah,
until
I don't know.
season 6. They got a lot of Stan Lee cameos, a lot of Star Trek cameos. That's pretty cool.
I mean, that's not really. You're not really selling it.
I mean, I thought I was.
Okay, cool. So
Whatever. I guess you don't like Star Trek, you heathen.
I was never a Trek fan,
You whore.
and that's not a knock on the show or anything. It's just like And I'm not trying to be like, oh, I was just Star Wars kid. Like I did watch Star Wars. I never really got into Star Trek. I don't know. I just can't do like anything. I don't like high fantasy and I don't like super crazy sci-fi shit.
You must be high.
I mean, like honestly, people tell me this all the time. I've never seen any of the Lords of the Rings. Like anything to deal with that. I can't play games like Skyrim and stuff just because I don't like high fantasy. I don't like magic-y. I've seen like maybe like 3 of the Harry Potter movies. You know, but yeah, it's the same way the other way. Like I like certain things in the genres of like sci-fi and high fantasy. Like I like Fallout, which is sci-fi. Um, and I like certain things along that line, but I don't like I don't know. There's certain things that I just can't get into. Like I don't like Game of Thrones.
Well, considering how it ended, a lot of people don't like Game of Thrones.
Right. Well, like my girlfriend is constantly on me. She's like, "You got to watch Game of Thrones. You got to watch Game of Thrones." I'm like, I just don't want to.
I mean,
And
the first few seasons are really good. The first few seasons are really good. But it's worse, in my opinion, to watch a show you know is going to end badly than to watch a show that you know that doesn't have an ending.
Right.
I would rather watch Reaper or Titus than ever go back to watching Game of Thrones or How I Met Your Mother.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things where it's just like, I don't know. It's like, yeah, I could watch Game of Thrones, but like, why not just rewatch The Golden Girls?
Yeah. Sure.
The Golden Girls is fucking hilarious. So
I don't get the hype. That show came on strong in like 2012 for some reason, and y'all think it's great. That's cool. Do you?
I watched it back in the late 90s, early 2000s with my grandmother. So I was on the I love The Golden Girls before I hate to say before it was cool, but like before it became popular. I was watching it in its like first syndication after it went off air. Cuz like at the time like the shows that we were watching that were popular was like we were watching late at night we would watch Golden Girls and we would watch like The Nanny with Fran Drescher. And shit like that. So that's just shit that I grew up on.
Fair enough. Anything else you got to bring to the table for this week, my friend?
No, I'm losing my mind in quarantine, so
Pansy.
Dude, I would like to say I'm ready to go back to work, but at the same time I fucking hate my job and don't ever want to step foot in that place again.
Double pansy. All right, so we're gonna do Eureka next week. Yes, are we taking a week off? Or are we doing Eureka next week?
We're
doing Eureka next week.
I will start watching Eureka, and if I'm able to get through the first season, we can start it next week. If not, we'll have to just take a week off and then jump into it.
It's like 12 episodes.
I know, but you know how I am.
Motherfucker, you can do this in a day.
I know. But it's again, it's the same thing of fatigue of watching stuff as where it's like I'll get through half of it and then I'm like I have to take a break and that break turns into fucking 4 days and I'm like, oh shit. I have to do a podcast in 3 hours. Let's see how many episodes of Eureka I can watch.
4 if you're lucky.
Yeah.
So you got all this fucking time. Optimize it.
I'm trying to, man, but I'm actually spending my time like writing and like working on shit for other things.
Bitch.
This is just
So here we are.
Yeah.
End of the show. RealNerdCorp.com. Our servers are having some issues. I got to get in contact with GoDaddy tomorrow. Fix that shit. We are on Twitter at NERDCORP, on Instagram at RealNerdCorp, REAL, NERDCORP. If you want to listen to any of our past podcasts, you can do so by going to Podbean at realnerdcorp.podbean.com or by downloading the Podbean app and looking for Real Nerd Corp on the mobile device app service and downloading all of the stuff that you want to listen to. Today we have wrestling, comics, this dorky ass show, and more. So tune in for that shit. We're on youtube.com/Wrestling Underground, as well as the Comic and Game Core YouTube channel. We're also on twitch.tv/Comic and Game Core and twitch.tv/Wrestling Underground. Swish, what are your personals?
You can find me on Twitter at x2000gregs, x2000gregs, and you can find me on Instagram at 2000gregs, 2000gregs. Chad, where can they find your personal stuff?
I am on Chad Nerdcorp on Twitter, ChadNerdCorp, and on the Instagram at Chad's Photo Hut, ChadsphotoHut. That's it. That's all I got.
Cool. So thank you all for joining us for the finale of the Devils in the Details podcast, the Devils in the Details, the podcast, I think is how it was. We'll be back hopefully next week or maybe the week after, all things depending, with the Eureka podcast that we're planning. For Chad Porto, I'm Alex Fisher. Goodbye, good night, and I don't know, man. Usually I have something witty for this, but just go, just leave. Turn the lights off. Get out.